When I first saw that white bone sticking out of the dirt, I thought it belonged to an animal. But a second look froze my blood, because it wasn't just a bone. It was a human jawbone. And the moment I realized that, I also felt I wasn't the only one out there in the dark. My name is Evan Miller. I bought my first house in upstate New York, a quiet neighborhood, wooden fences, tall pine trees lining the back of the yard. It felt like the start of a new life, something stable for once. But the ground under that house was already part of a story I hadn't been told. A story I would come to regret uncovering. About 2 weeks after moving in, I decided to clean up the backyard. The grass near the fence was overgrown, weeds everywhere, and there was a sunken patch of dirt like someone had buried something there before. I figured it was old trash or maybe broken furniture the previous owner didn't want. When I pushed the shovel in, the soil was damp and sour smelling. Then the shovel hit something solid. I knelt down and brushed away the dirt. A curved white piece, thin, light, cold. I picked it up and dropped it instantly. It was a human rib. The whole backyard went dead silent. The wind stopped, even the trees seemed to freeze. And from the line of pines behind the fence, I heard slow, steady breathing, like someone watching me inhale and exhale. I backed away and rushed inside. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. But that night, the fear truly began. The backyard motion light kept flicking on and off, like someone was pacing in the dark. Step, flicker, step, flicker, as if something, or someone, was waiting for me to come out again. The next day, I wanted to call the police, but something held me back. Curiosity, or maybe stupidity. Who had lived here before me? Why had they left so suddenly? I went to a neighbor's house. The old man who answered looked at me like he already knew what I wanted. "You live in Gregory Fontaine's place now?" he asked. When I nodded, his face tightened. He disappeared. One night. Just gone. Police said he probably left town, but nobody's seen him since. My stomach knotted. I didn't know if I was terrified or determined, but that night I took a shovel and flashlight back to the same spot. Around 10 p.m., I stepped into the yard. The moon barely lit the ground, making every shadow look alive. I dug deeper. First one bone, then another, then a whole hand, then a skull with a shattered jaw. I froze. I had uncovered an entire human skeleton. Right then the house's security lights flickered on and the flashlight beam caught the skull. Something inside it shifted, like something was still moving in there. Before I could think, I heard footsteps sprinting behind the trees. Fast, coming closer. I ran inside, slammed the door shut, and listened. The lights flickered. And then, footsteps upstairs, slow, controlled. I knew without a doubt I wasn't alone in that house. The next morning I finally called the police. They dug up the yard, pulled out the remains, photographed everything. Hours later, an officer approached me, pale and tense. "These bones aren't that old," he said. "We believe they belonged to the previous owner, Gregory." My chest tightened. But then he added, "We found a second set of remains, smaller, younger." My throat went dry. 2 people had been buried in my backyard. And then he said something that made my skin crawl. "We found a broken camera buried with them." That night I returned home. Immediately, I knew something was wrong. The hallway light was dimmer than before, the air heavier. As soon as I closed the door, a creak echoed from upstairs, like someone trying to stay quiet. I climbed the stairs slowly. At my bedroom door, a long shadow stood motionless. I turned on the light, it vanished. But something lay on the floor, dirty, covered in soil. The same camera the police had taken hours earlier. Somehow, someone had placed it right outside my bedroom. I picked it up. My hands shook uncontrollably. Inside was a memory card. I loaded it into my laptop. Only one video. The file was named, "He's Still Here." I played it. Shaky flashlight beams illuminated the backyard. Gregory appeared in the frame, digging. He dragged a young man's body into the hole, burying him. Then the camera shook. Someone else stepped into the frame behind Gregory. Same yard, same soil. The stranger lifted something heavy and smashed it into Gregory's skull. Dragged him into the grave too. Then the killer walked up to the camera. His face was smeared with mud, his eyes sharp and bright. He leaned in close and whispered, "If anyone uncovers this place, I'll have to come back." The video ended. I threw the camera to the floor as the soft sound of breathing echoed behind me, the same heavy breathing I heard from the trees the night I found the rib. I turned toward the window. In the backyard, someone stood between the pines, tall, still. Slowly, he lifted his arm and pointed straight at my window. That's when I understood the truth. I didn't just dig up bones, I let him out. If you want to know what happened next, hit that subscribe button on Hauntra TV, drop a like, and tell me in the comments, should we go back into the backyard?